Happy Tuesday, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. We are tracking yet another round of storms. You'll notice most of the activity is to our north. However, we are starting to see some development in and around the city, and these downpours are pretty extensive. So we will be tracking a couple of different rounds of rain for this afternoon and for this evening. And so for that reason, I want to get you in close to the activity that we've got going in right now. So not everywhere seeing lightning, but a couple of areas are starting to see some, not just heavy downpours, but flashes of lightning and even the possibility of some small hail. Dang, it's not wanting to zoom into us. That's okay though. You'll notice a couple of different boundaries that we'll be tracking on our western cities and counties. That means that for the next few hours, we've got the potential of seeing a few rounds of rain. Oh, there we go. Okay, Sugar Land area right now, that's where we're tracking not just the heavy downpours, but you'll see that area of bright purple. That is a signature for some hail. So small hail, wind up to about 40 miles an hour, also a possibility. I'm going to check hail tracks to see if there are any signatures right now. It looks like for the time being, not watching any hail. Oh, there's a little tiny hail signature. If you look down League City, that area that you see in gray, that could be an indicator of some pea-sized hail. But otherwise, pretty manageable downpours for now. I'll show you the potential that we've got today for severe weather is the lowest. It's a 1 on the 1 to 5 scale. But looking at some downpours for Katy right now, moving along to 90, pockets of heavy rain, and those are starting to bubble up across the area too. So hopefully you don't have any flights out of Bush Airport here in the next few hours, because that's where a cluster is starting to coagulate. You'll notice for the Bay, not a good day for boaters, as we are starting to track a couple of storms, not just with heavy rain, but also with frequent lightning. So this gets you in real tight. You'll notice Shore Acres right now with some pockets of pretty heavy rainfall. I'll get you zoomed out a little bit so you don't have to see such a close-up view of the bay. Frequent flashes of lightning there, and you'll notice that's going to be something that we monitor through the afternoon hours. So League City down to Galveston, if you were trying to make it a beach day, you're gonna be able to get there, but it'll just be a little bit slower. Santa Fe tracking some good amounts of lightning right now too. Let's widen the view even more so. Down 288, how does it look now? I'll stop the clock so we can have a look at what current conditions are doing right now. So yeah, pretty good sizable storms starting to build. So they started off more as popcorn showers. Now we're seeing like a nice formation of some more consolidated storms. So that is going to bring us a little bit of a disruptive lunch hour. If you had anything penciled in for right now throughout the next maybe 2 hours or so, you might have to delay or cancel, because it's just not ideal to be driving in not just heavy rain, but the potential of a couple of hail cores. I think that one actually might be producing something now. So I'm going to take a closer look at that one that's right along Sienna Parkway. And in addition to the lightning there, is it producing any hail right now? Yes, it is. Okay, so radar is showing us that from Thompson's to Sienna, there is some radar indicated small hail. So this would be potentially some pea-sized hail that we're taking a look at right now. And that is going to move towards the northeast. So if that hail holds together, it's going to push towards Fresno. Eventually it's going to get to Brookside Village, and then ultimately breach the Beltway and try to get towards Hobby Airport. So let's put a little tracker on this to see. These storms, I'd say, are moving at about 30 miles an hour. So let me put I'll stop the clock right here, and then we'll get a good little tracker on this. So from here, we'll make it go, about 30 miles an hour. We'll continue to make it go up. There we go. Okay. So essentially, if there is that hail core that holds together, it would get to the Fresno area in about 10 minutes, pushing towards Brookside Village in about 30 minutes or so, so around 1 o'clock time frame. Hobby Airport 1:10, Pasadena 1:20, and Greens Bayou by around 1:30. There's a couple of other thunderstorms that we're looking a little bit juicy as well, so we'll see. You can watch with me. If you notice any of these areas in purple, those are typically hail signatures. If I turn on the hail tracker, it'll either tell me that we're watching. Oh, we're still doing the zoom out. Let's come back home. Oh, no. Sometimes this gets a little finicky. All right, let's see if we can get a little closer to us. No. Now we're really going out into the globe. All right, there we go. We'll come back home here. In addition to the hail, we'll watch for some lightning as well. So number of positive strikes about 130 for now. And there's going to be several different features that spark up these thunderstorms throughout the day. So I'm watching a boundary that's just past the I-35 corridor. That one's moving at around 30 miles an hour. And so it's about 130 miles away from the city center, and so at that rate it would signal that we've got a chance for these bubbling storms at least for the next 2 hours, so until about 2:30. And then notice there's another cluster of storms there, so that could easily send out an outflow boundary. And why we watch boundaries like this is because we're just kind of like sitting ducks here with plenty of heat, plenty of humidity, and if a boundary comes in and scoops up all that moisture, well then we've got thunderstorm development. You'll notice Future Track radar has some of these storms over the next 2 hours, like I mentioned, and then potentially even an isolated shower through your evening plans. So that's going to be a little bit more scattered and isolated in nature. I think most of the activity is going on right now. And you'll notice the spots that have already seen rain have seen temperatures drop into the 80s, and the spots that have not had shower activity have pushed into the low 90s. So there's your discrepancy between Wharton with some rain cooled air at 83 and Sugar Land at 91. Your hourly planner for today, high temperature does push up to 92 degrees. With that humidity, it's going to feel about 10 degrees, maybe a little hotter than that, feeling of 103. Severe threat for today is low. It's a 1 on the 1 to 5 scale, but it's not 0, and we are watching the potential of gusty wind. That threat's about 5%. So what I mean by that is wind that could be damaging, 50 to 60 miles an hour, and even some small hail, which we've already seen verified, 1/2 inch to 1 inch in diameter. So this wouldn't be damaging hail, but it would be something that we track as these individual storms bubble up. Flood risk for today, highest for west and central Texas. We have a marginal risk. I don't think the thunderstorms today are going to be problematic in terms of rain accumulation. I do think that threat, though, does go up, especially tomorrow, and as we continue to see more rounds of rain, even into the end of the week. In addition to the severe threat today, we've got one for tomorrow. On Thursday, there's a severe threat, but at this point, it's a little bit more consolidated to our northern cities and counties. We talked about Wednesday's flood risk. This is why I think tomorrow is going to be a little bit more problematic. We've got the round of rain in the morning, then we've got the round of rain in the afternoon. These are two pretty high chances for us to see some good downpours. So that's why I have tomorrow flagged for that. Thursday's commute to work, I think, is going to be an issue. Then the afternoon is okay. Friday morning looks okay if you had anything penciled in there, but afternoon and evening plans might be an issue. So Wednesday morning starting off stormy, even into the afternoon, another round of storms. So that's the flood risk. Thursday, I think the morning is a problem for the commute. Storms start early from 5 to 8 o'clock. So as you're trying to get to work, you might have a big slowdown. For the afternoon, though, we clear things up. And then as we head into Friday, we start off dry, but then track some more storms in the afternoon. Temperature-wise, right now we're in the mid to upper 80s area-wide or low 90s. But again, with the humidity, it does feel hotter. So if you're in Sugar Land, 91 actually feels like 104. Here's a breakdown of the high temperatures over the next 3 days. So we talked about today, the 70% chance for storms. Tomorrow, same chance for storms, a slightly less hot forecast because it's a more cloud cover. And then same thing for your Thursday. Upper 80s will be what does it for us. Through the next few days, I think we could wind up with an isolated 3 to 5 inches of rainfall, and it's those pockets that I'll have to monitor for the potential of street flooding, high water spots, too much rainfall in this condensed amount of time. Galveston right now, so starting to get pretty soupy. I mean, look at the difference between the air temperature and what it feels like. There is a ton of moisture coming in from the Gulf right now. I mean, you can feel it when you step outside. It is an instant sauna. 20-degree temperature discrepancy. So 88 feels like 108. My gosh. So the Gulf is definitely fueled up. Luckily, the Atlantic is not. This is your daily check at the Atlantic Basin since it is hurricane season. Luckily, there is nothing that is developing or expecting to develop over the next 7 days. Here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. We broke down today. Most of the activity is happening right now and will last us over the next 2 hours. Tomorrow morning, rounds of rain. Tomorrow afternoon, rounds of rain. Tomorrow is not just widespread. I think you could see some high water issues. Thursday morning, I think, is going to be an issue. And then Friday afternoon is going to be an issue. Saturday, Sunday, it is Father's Day. We do not get rid of the storm chances, although they scale back just a little bit. But even into next week, we continue to track round of storms. Temperature-wise, even though it's not as hot as last week, it's certainly humid. So it feels really steamy outside, with an afternoon storm in the mix. All right, make sure you download the KHOU app and follow us on social media. If we do see a storm gain a little bit of strength and become severe, we could send those alerts straight to your phone. Stay dry and stay safe, Houston.